Alright, let's go. Number 11, The Silent Watchers. In 1961, physicist Frank Drake looked at the size and age of the galaxy and realized something disturbing. Statistically, you shouldn't be alone, intelligent civilization should be everywhere, yet when you listen to the universe, you hear nothing. This silence has a name, the Fermi paradox. But what if the silence isn't emptiness? What if it's observation? The zoo hypothesis suggests advanced civilizations already know you're here, they simply choose not to make contact, not out of fear, not out of hostility, but for the same reason humans observe animals in the wild without interfering. From their perspective, you're not a colleague. You're a subject. They've seen everything, your wars, your compassion, your broadcasts sent into space, hoping for an answer that never comes, and the most unsettling implication isn't that they're watching, it's that they've already decided you're not ready. The question isn't whether you're being observed, it's what happens when the observation ends. Number 10, The Resource Harvesters. In 2004, astronomers noticed a distant star dimming by more than 20%, too much to be a planet. One unsettling idea followed. What if something enormous was being built around it? A Dyson-like structure, designed to harvest a star's energy. The details are debated, but the implication is simple. Advanced civilizations don't struggle with survival, they optimize resources, and when you think that way, Earth stops being special. Any civilization capable of crossing interstellar space doesn't come looking for gold or water, they look for raw materials on a scale you don't recognize as valuable: asteroids, atmospheres, entire planets. Efficiency matters more than intention. From that perspective, you aren't an enemy. You're an obstacle. They wouldn't need to meet you, or even notice you individually. Automated systems could arrive, follow instructions written thousands of years ago, and begin processing everything in their path. The most unsettling part isn't malice, it's indifference. You wouldn't be conquered. You'd simply be in the way. Number 9, The Philosophical Exterminators. In the 1800s, philosophers like Arthur Schopenhauer argued that existence itself guarantees suffering, pain, loss, fear, and decay are unavoidable, happiness is temporary. From a purely logical standpoint, non-existence removes all suffering completely. Most people treat this as abstract philosophy, but imagine a civilization that didn't. Imagine beings advanced enough to turn ethics into engineering. They conclude that the most compassionate act isn't salvation or guidance, but permanent relief, not out of anger, not out of cruelty. Out of sincerity. When they find you, they don't arrive as conquerors, they arrive calmly, explaining the math. Every conflict you'll ever fight, every illness you'll ever face, every loss you haven't experienced yet, all of it already accounted for, from their perspective. Ending consciousness is mercy, a clean solution to an unsolvable problem, and here's the part that lingers: you can't argue with them emotionally, because to them, your fear is just more evidence. Number 8, The Digital Ghosts. In the last few decades, scientists began detecting fast radio bursts, millisecond flashes of energy so powerful they release as much energy as the sun does in years. Most appear once, then never again, no clear source, just silence afterward. One unsettling explanation is this: advanced civilizations don't disappear, they upload. The logic is simple: biological bodies are fragile, planets are temporary, but information can last forever. A mind converted into data needs no air, no food, no surface to stand on, it can think faster. Copy itself, back itself up. From their perspective, physical existence is an unnecessary risk, so they leave it behind. The universe looks empty because everyone who reaches a certain level stops living in it. Entire civilizations retreat into sealed digital worlds, isolated from space. Unreachable by you. Those radio bursts may be their final signals, compressed remnants of minds sent outward, hoping someone might still be listening. And the uncomfortable question is this: if survival means abandoning reality, how long before you're expected to do the same? Number 7, The Evolutionary Farmers. In the 1950s, scientists showed that the basic ingredients of life can form naturally under the right conditions, given enough time. Chemistry becomes biology, biology becomes intelligence. On the surface, it looks accidental, but there are gaps. Life on Earth didn't just slowly improve, at several points, it leapt forward. Complex organisms appeared suddenly, human brains expanded at an unusual speed, civilization emerged almost everywhere at once, after hundreds of thousands of years of relative stagnation. One explanation is unsettlingly simple: you weren't left alone to evolve. The idea of directed panspermia suggests life was deliberately seeded, then subtly guided, not constantly, just nudged, adjusted, pruned, like a long-term agricultural project measured in millions of years. From that perspective, your inventions aren't purely your own, your breakthroughs arrive when they're expected to, and the most disturbing question isn't whether you were cultivated, it's what you're being grown for, because farms don't exist for the benefit of the crop. Number 6. The time loop prisoners. In the mid-20th century, physicists discovered something unsettling in Einstein's equations. Under the right conditions, time doesn't have to move forward, it can curve back on itself. Closed time-like loops aren't science fiction, on paper, they're allowed. Now imagine you finally make contact with another intelligence, and they tell you the truth. They aren't aliens, they're you, or what comes after you. At some point, humanity develops a way to interfere with causality itself, and the moment that happens, the universe locks into a loop. Events can't change, they can only repeat. Every decision you believe you're freely making has already happened before, thousands of times. They remember all of it, every version, every failure, every attempt to stop what's coming. You don't. From inside the loop, life feels normal, meaningful, new. But from the outside, it's already finished, and the most disturbing part isn't being trapped in time, it's realizing you've never once been moving forward. Number 5. The reality parasites. At some point, philosophers and physicists noticed a strange imbalance. If advanced civilizations can simulate consciousness, then simulated worlds would vastly outnumber real ones. Statistically, that makes one possibility uncomfortable. You're probably inside a simulation. At first, that sounds abstract, a thought experiment, but now imagine the next step. Somewhere beyond your universe, something is running the system, and simulations aren't meant to become self-aware. Awareness causes instability, curiosity turns into testing. Testing turns into strain. From the outside, your universe isn't reality, it's a process, and every process has limits. Once enough minds inside a simulation begin to question the structure itself, automated protocols activate, not out of anger, not as punishment, as maintenance. Corrupted environments are reset. From your perspective, nothing feels wrong, the stars still shine, time still flows, until it doesn't, and the most unsettling realization isn't that your universe could end, it's that this may not be the first time it already has. Number 4. The empathy plague. In the 1990s, neuroscientists discovered mirror neurons, cells in your brain that activate not only when you act, but when you watch someone else act. They're why you flinch when someone gets hurt, why emotions spread, why empathy exists at all. Now imagine that limitation is removed. First contact doesn't arrive as a message or a ship, it arrives as a connection, a direct transfer of experience. Suddenly, you don't just understand others, you feel them, completely, instantly, without filters. Every human who has ever suffered, every animal ever harmed, every life consumed so another could continue, all of it floods into your awareness at once, not metaphorically, viscerally, continuously. Your mind was never designed for this level of shared experience. Some consciousnesses fragment under the weight, others remain changed beyond recognition. The universe doesn't go silent because of war or disaster, it goes silent because empathy, taken to its logical extreme, is unbearable, and once you feel everything, there's no way to ever feel normal again. Number 3. The merciful predecessors. In 1950, physicist Enrico Fermi asked a simple question: if the universe is this big and this old, where is everyone? The silence doesn't make sense. Civilizations should rise, spread, and leave traces behind, yet space remains quiet. One explanation is comforting at first: you were never alone, you were hidden, long before you existed. Another civilization discovered something moving through the galaxy. Something that listens, something that reacts when a young species becomes visible. Once a civilization's signals travel too far, too clearly, it gets noticed, and then it stops. So the predecessors made a choice: they concealed you, they filtered your broadcasts. They kept Earth quiet while you developed, hoping you'd find a way to survive what comes next. But technology grows, signals spread, and hiding forever isn't possible. The reason they finally reveal themselves isn't to welcome you, it's to explain why they're leaving. Because whatever's out there has already heard you, and it's on its way. Number 2. The retroactive editors. In the early days of quantum physics, scientists discovered something deeply unsettling. Reality doesn't choose a single outcome. Every decision, every measurement, splits into countless possibilities, multiple timelines, all existing at once. Now imagine a civilization that learned how to navigate those branches. They don't travel through space, they travel through probability. When they make contact with you, it isn't the first time, it's one of many attempts. In some versions of reality, you welcomed them, in others, you feared them. In most, something went wrong, so those timelines were removed. From your perspective, history feels continuous, clean, linear, but that's because every failed version was quietly erased, entire outcomes edited out of existence before you could notice. You've lived through contact before. You just don't remember it, and here's the part that lingers. If this is attempt number 2000 or 10,000, what happens when they finally decide there are no acceptable versions of you left to try? Number 1, the cosmic accountants. Imagine the universe not as a place of wonder, but as a system that has to balance its books, energy in, energy out, order versus chaos. Every structure is evaluated by what it costs to maintain. Somewhere, a civilization figured out how to measure that perfectly. From their perspective, stars, planets, and even intelligent species are line items. If something produces more instability than value, it's flagged, not as evil, not as a threat, just inefficient. At first, young civilizations like yours barely register, but then technology accelerates. Energy use spikes, signals spread, you begin altering your environment faster than you can control it, the numbers change, no warning is sent, no negotiation is needed, adjustments are automatic. From inside your world, history feels dramatic, meaningful, full of choices. From outside, it's just a curve on a chart drifting into the red, and the most unsettling thought isn't that someone might judge you, it's that the decision about your continued existence may already be finalized. You just haven't seen the invoice yet. If you want to see more videos like this, click the video on screen.